We go out in the field. We've been all over this country in the last 2 years.
Standing Rock. I've been with you. I've been Standing Rock.
Wow, you got me on right now.
We're doing it, baby. On the South Bend. It's time you show the real Mayor Pete.
In 100 days, they tore down 1,000 houses in 100 days.
Thank you, whether it's Standing Rock or Flint or everything else you do. You know, you guys, it's not even like watching news. It's just watching the truth, you know.
It's not me and you, Jordan. It's the ruling class. It's David. It's the Walton family. Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk. It's them. It's not us that benefit from these illegal offensive wars.
We're here at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, and you are going to see live the actual caucus process. We are here.
We go out in the field, and we give the microphone back to the people.
Yo! Coup! I know who you are, yo!
How you doing, man?
You the man, yo!
Unmarked pills, okay.
Ooh, essential oils, purification. Oh, peppermint. La la la. Love it.
I am worried about Jordan, testing positive. He doesn't have any breathing difficulties right now, but he definitely has a cough that's been really bad and that's been hurting his chest.
That's Fury right there. I've cleared out the desk and now got my drill a hole and we'll see how this goes. Hopefully well. I know a general idea of what I want, essentially, so I'll try and get all this down to about a minute, get the main points, especially I got 2 videos at least for Flint.
The bottom line is, it's Sunday morning.
I'm preparing for my Sunday live stream, which usually takes me about 2 hours to prepare for before the live stream. And I got an email from a viewer.
Hey guys, Jen Dice here with a behind the scenes video. First of all, thank you so much for being a member. It's because of you guys that Jamal and I are able to be here. We can't thank you enough. It means just the world to us.
Millions and millions of people have been laid off. Millions more have had their hours cut. We're kind of living in a quiet, silent depression. What do you call 45 million people filing for unemployment?
$1,200 in 3 months makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense.
Everybody should be paying attention to what's going on because this is happening in every county, not just Louisville, Kentucky. And that's why the world is like, wait a minute, enough's enough.
And one thing I do know is if you're not sitting at the table, you are on the menu. And it seems like we continue to be on the menu.
I don't want to have to lose everything that we worked really hard for. We've been struggling for 5 years, and then we finally got everything together, and it just instantly went away.
Literally driving across the country during the pandemic, talking to people, finding out what's going on.
But there are people such as yourself and other people that are telling the true story of what is happening.
All of these black people have been assassinated by police in this city, and none of them have been brought to justice.
People don't really care about those things in places where, you know, we're not New York, we're not Chicago, we're not Minneapolis, we're Louisville, Kentucky. If somebody calls you screaming for help at 911, they never treated her. They never came to her apartment, nothing.
Vote. Vote. And do what's right in your heart because change comes from within. So as long as your heart is pure and you're doing what's right, that's what matters.
Once upon a time there was truth in journalism where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
Hey, Jordan Sheridan live on Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. Hope everybody's having an okay day. This is Status Coup right here in the United Corporations of America. President Biden is speaking tonight in his first joint address to Congress, but we will be discussing what I think is the most important story right now in this country. And that is, let me look straight into the camera, a police and governmental cover-up of the murder of 42-year-old Andrew Brown in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. If it stinks, what is it? If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And this judge today, if you haven't seen it, this judge today all but confirmed to me that there's something on that body cam footage that they do not want the public to know. Smash that like button. More people that press the thumbs up right under this live stream, the more people that will see this live stream. Share this live stream. More people that share will see. We want to get these numbers up. By the way, I'm going to remind you of this throughout the broadcast. But right now, we are 11 members away from 1,900. Holy cow. We've grown a lot of new members while John has been down there in North Carolina. I would love to get those 11 right now during this live stream. So if you support our on-the-ground independent reporting, please sign up, statuscoup.com/join, statuscoup.com/join. You can become a member for as low as $5 a month. By the way, for members, I just uploaded, before I went live, a new members video. If you're a member, you get behind-the-scenes content, behind-the-scenes videos. You get access to our monthly our Discord channel, which is a members-only Discord, and our monthly members call, which we have to do. I'm hoping we could do before I go on my honeymoon this Sunday. The members call is through Zoom. So keep signing up. By becoming a member, you are supporting this on-the-ground reporting, which, by the way, I don't see CNN doing it, and I don't see MSNBC doing it, and I don't see the Young Turks doing it. I see us doing it. And speaking of, we're going to show you John's great footage from last night. He was live for 4 hours last night. Let me repeat. He was live for 4 hours last night showing you protests. And tonight he will be live again. He's working around the clock for you. He'll be live from protest tonight. So definitely sign up if you can, statuscoup.com/join. The link is in the description too. And if I do say so myself, I'm artistic. So there you go. statuscoup.com/join. I did that for the Jimmy Dore show, but I still have it. So let me give you the nuts and bolts of what the judge decided today in North Carolina. A judge in North Carolina ordered law enforcement body camera footage of the death of Andrew Brown disclosed to the family, but not released to the public until completion of a state investigation into Brown's death. So let me be clear what that means and doesn't mean. The judge is not giving the body cam footage to the family. They are allowing the family to come and look at it. So that begs the question, because there's a lot of questions, and let me repeat, this is a cover-up. By the way, super chats are welcome, but Jen is not feeling well, so it's Colin in the chat. We will read your super chats as quickly as we can. If they're now going to show the full body cameras to the family, that would be 4 officer body cameras, including a dash cam, so 5 total. Why did they only show 20 seconds the other day? If all of this was available and the judge is now ordering the police to show all of this to the family, why did they only show 20 seconds the other day? Simple question. I don't hear any answers. 4 body cam footage, 4 body cams, we believe, from officers, and the dash cam from one of the officers' cars, but they only showed 20 seconds the other day. Cover up. Number one, that is more and more signals that this is a cover-up. Let me show you a little bit more. Judge Jeffrey Foster ordered the videos disclosed to Brown's family within 10 days. Have no idea why it would take 10 days to give them the footage. Brown was shot and killed by Pasquotank County, North Carolina Sheriff deputies last week, less than 24 hours after Derek Chauvin was found guilty. Coalition of media organizations had requested the release of the footage, but Foster ruled the media did not have standing to petition for release, and that public release could harm the reputation or safety of the deputies depicted in it and affect the state's investigation. The judge said 5 body cam videos and 1 car camera video will be disclosed to Brown's family and to their attorney. He ordered all faces and name tags of deputies blurred. So let me explain to you why I am definitively saying this is a cover-up. I know I'm a journalist. You're supposed to be a robot and pretend to be neutral and blah, 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 blah. Listen, if something common sense-wise is obvious, you should just say so. Number one, there are 7 officers involved in this shooting that are on administrative leave. There are 3 who have resigned. Okay? Why would there be 7 officers on administrative leave and 3 have resigned if there's nothing to see here? If the officers were in the right? You tell me. Number 2, I spoke with a criminal defense attorney today, and I've been reading online. It's very, very unusual that a judge orders the images, meaning the faces of officers involved in a shooting, to be blurred. Why are those officers' identities and protecting their identities and safety more important than transparency for the death of Andrew Brown? Let me repeat. Why are those officers' identities and their safety more important than the life and transparency for Andrew Brown and his family? I'm not saying anybody be violent towards these officers. Holy cow, by the way, we just got 3 new member signups. Holy cow. Michael, Alice, Jeremy, woohoo! We are now 1,892 Status Coup members. So we're 8 members away. 8 members away. Sorry, I don't have the ability to change it while I'm live. I know there's 8 of you out there that appreciate on-the-ground reporting. And again, John is going to be live again tonight. The man was live 4 hours last night, covering up close, risking arrest, by the way. And then he was live this morning for 3 hours. I talked to him. I said, you better take a nap or something because you sound exhausted. I know how he feels because I've been out there doing exhaustive work, press conferences by morning, stuff in the afternoon, protests at night. It's a lot. So definitely support John. Sign up as a member. Obviously, we pay John. We want to pay him more, but it just depends how much money we make and how many members we have. So keep signing up. We're now 8 members away. But getting back to it, and smash that like button. The more people that press the thumbs up, the more people that will see this live stream. Brandon, $10 in the super chat. Keep up the good independent investigative reporting, Status Coup. We're trying. So why should these officers, if they did nothing wrong, and in court today, the district attorney for this county said the shooting was justified. Those were his words, that they believe the shooting was justified. So if they did nothing wrong, why do you need to blur out their faces? Why do you need to blur out their identity? You know, we're not saying commit violence against the officers. Of course not. But do you see the pedestal and the priority for privacy for the police officers? Secrecy of who they are? What about Andrew Brown? What about his family? What about transparency for the people that pay those officers' salaries? How about that? So essentially, this judge, I looked him up, not much out there, but this is North Carolina. Seems like a conservative area. The judge seemed to be very deferential to the police. Why? With George Floyd, with Dante Wright, with the Columbus, Ohio shooting of Ma'Khia Bryant, 16-year-old who was just gunned down by police, that body cam footage came out relatively quickly. They're saying that the attorneys, the district attorney, argued that this is prejudicial. This would be prejudicial and would create a biased jury if we release the body cam footage now. First of all, that's a crock of shit. Excuse my French. But number 2, so wait, not releasing, making sure you don't release the footage would prevent a biased or suspicious jury, but hiding the footage wouldn't create a biased, suspicious jury? It makes absolutely no sense. I don't think it's meant to make sense, frankly. I don't think it's a coincidence that they held this hearing today on the same day that President Biden will be holding his first joint congressional speech. So all the news coverage is going to be on that today and tonight. So this will get relatively swept under the rug. Why is it that they're only showing they're only disclosing the body cam footage to the Brown family, but not giving it to them? Why is it that this showing the body cam footage would interfere with the investigation? They showed the George Floyd body cam footage, didn't interfere with the investigation into Derek Chauvin. Keith Ellison, the Minnesota Attorney General, he upped the charges from manslaughter to murder. They had an investigation. The body cam footage was out there, and they found Derek Chauvin guilty of all 3 charges. The Dante Wright murder that now seems like so long ago, but it was only about 2 weeks ago. The footage is out. They're doing an investigation. Releasing this footage absolutely does not impede the investigation. Releasing this footage absolutely does not interfere, and it does not create biased jurors. You know what might create biased jurors and jurors that are kind of suspicious? A cover-up. And that's what this judge agreed to today. Again, a cover-up. By the way, we just got 4 new members. Holy cow. Welcome, Joanna, Alec, Cynthia, Jeffrey. Woohoo! We're now 1,896. 4 members away. 4 members away from 1,900. Statuscoup.com/join. $5 a month. $5 a month. And as a reminder, before I went live today, I uploaded a video just for members, because as members, you get bonus content. So if you don't know, go to statuscoup.com/join. You click on become a member, click on members content, and that will bring you to our recent members videos. You also get access to the documentary we did on Flint. We've been covering Flint and the water catastrophe there for years. This documentary, for those of you that are new and don't know, shows Jen and I, Status Coup's co-founder, Jen Dyes, and I knocking on 400 doors in Flint to expose that the state of Michigan cheated and manipulated the water testing. They lied. That was us in 2018. We're still trying to get the documentary picked up, but for now we're pushing it as a perk just for Status Coup members. So great perks as a member. Keep it going. I want to play the family attorney's response to this, shall I say, bullshit. Here's the family's attorney's response to the judge's ruling to, as I said in the headline, hide this body cam footage. Here we go.
I'm Wayne Kendall, and this is Mr. Harry Daniels. We represent, along with Ms. Lassiter, the family of Andrew Brown. You guys have probably heard what the judge decided today. I would consider it somewhat of a partial victory for the family, in the sense that the judge did order a redacted release, or not, excuse me, I need to be clear about release and disclosure. He ordered a partial disclosure of the video camera recordings to the son of Andrew Brown, Mr. Khalil Farabee. And that is to occur sometime within the next 10 days or so. That release should be made, and then he's also ordered that disclosure should be made, rather. And then within the next 30 to 45 days, he will decide whether or not there will be an actual release of the video recordings to Mr. Farabee, depending upon whether the district attorney decides to bring any criminal charges or not bring criminal charges. We consider that a partial victory in the sense that the judge and the district attorney and the sheriff's department have admitted that there are at least 4 recordings and 1 dash cam recordings for a total of 5 video cameras. As you will recall, a couple of days ago, they released only a snippet, a 20-second snippet of 1 recording. So at least now, in sometime within the next 10 days or so, we will have the opportunity, or at least one representative of the legal team, as well as Mr. Farabee, will be allowed to see these what we consider to be now 5 video cams in full with only the facial features of the deputies that were there on the scene, as well as their identification like a name badge, to be redacted or blurred out. So from the standpoint of the family, we would consider this a partial victory. Now, I also want to address something that I heard
I just want to make the point, and if I was there, I would have asked him. I just want to make the point. Again, common sense. Common sense. And remember, smash that like button, thumbs up button right under the live stream. We got almost 1,000 people watching. The more people that press like, the more people that will see this. If you're new to Status Coup, subscribe to this channel. We're almost at 118,000 subscribers. As a reminder, John, our cameraman, will be live tonight covering protests. So make sure you make yourself available tonight, because John will be live covering protests live on the ground. I would have asked him, well, okay, partial victory, that's fine. I'm not going to disagree. But why, if the judge is ruling that they have to release 4 body cam footage, so 4 body cams and dash cam footage, that obviously was available yesterday, right? When they showed the family 20 seconds. So again, why, if there's 4 body cams and 1 dash cam for a total of 5, why was it that they only showed 1 officer 20 seconds of his body cam footage? By the way, an officer that was furthest away from Andrew Brown. This officer that they showed the 20 seconds to the family was furthest away, running to the car. You got to ask common sense, if it was available, why didn't they show it? Because there's something on there they don't want them to see. There's something, or more than something, on there that they don't want to see. Period. Somebody asked when protests are tonight. Can never say for certain. Usually they tend to start anywhere between 6:30 and 8 o'clock Eastern time. There's a curfew in Elizabeth City tonight at 8 o'clock. There was a curfew last night at 8 o'clock as well. 7 people were arrested. 7 protesters were arrested last night. We're expecting, John, our cameraman, told me the mood is even more angry tonight after the judge denied the body cam for being released to the public. So we'll be live anywhere between 6:30 and 7 o'clock Eastern. If you don't know, by the way, YouTube will probably not notify you when we're live. So that's why it's super important. Get on our text list so you'll get a text message when we're live. Text COUP to 370-370. That's COUP to 370-370. That way you'll get a text message when we're live. We only send texts when we're live. So it's a great way to kind of beat YouTube suppression, because YouTube doesn't notify, or they notify you an hour after we're live, or they don't notify you at all. So definitely join our text list, COUP to 370-370. So let me play some more of this, because what he's saying, yeah, partial victory, that's all great. But again, it doesn't make sense. Why? It doesn't make sense. Why? If they had 5 total body cams, why they showed 1 for 20 seconds. Holy cow, Colin, please send me. We just hit 1,900 members. Woohoo! Welcome, Sierra, Susan, Andres, Xenia, 1,900 members. Woohoo! My wife is screaming from upstairs. She's excited. So now, 1,900. Now we are laser focused on 2,000. So keep signing up. Statuscoup.com/join. By the way, I got great footage to show you from the protests last night that I'm going to show you in a little bit. Let me play the rest of this.
The district attorney to say that greatly disturbed me.
Greatly.
And that was the fact that Miss Lassiter here, who is standing to my left, somehow misconstrued, misrepresented the contents of the 20-second snippet that she was allowed to see along with a couple of family members a couple of days ago. The reason that greatly disturbs me is because this district attorney has had access to these recordings since they were recorded. The full recordings, all 5 video recordings. He has had full access, and had he allowed Ms. Lassiter to see the entire contents of all 5 videos, there wouldn't be any issue about what's on the video and what his description of what is on the video is versus what her description of what the video is. And further, if he had released those video recordings to all of you, then the entire world would know what's on those videos. So for him to come into court today and suggest that she somehow misconstrued or mischaracterized what is on those videos when he only allowed her to see 20 seconds of one video cam is beyond reprehensible.
He should be admonished for it. He should be admonished.
With Governor Roy Cooper, you have called for a special prosecutor. There is no better reason than to have a special prosecutor in this case than what we heard Mr. Womble state in court today. He would take it upon himself to call for an admonishment of a licensed member of the bar for giving an honest interpretation of what was on those videos, that small snippet that she was allowed to see, and to ask for her to be admonished by the court for giving her recitation, her honest recitation, as a member of the bar of this state, as to what she saw. It's beyond reprehensible. When he has it in his power to let the whole world see all 5 videos. Now I'm going to let my co-counsel Harry Daniels make a statement as well.
Let's not get distracted. An innocent man was gunned down, shot in the back of the head, vehicle riddled with bullets from the rear. Now I heard statements being made where he might have hit the deputies, or he might have did that. Well, show us the video. Show us the video. Show us the tape. Show the tape. If that's your position, show the tape. We already know if that was the case, then the media attorneys would not have to make an argument to show the tape. The tape will already be shown. If that exonerate the law enforcement officer, the media would have already seen the tape. In Columbus, Ohio, the tape was immediately shown. Immediately shown. Show the tapes. Now, Ms. Lassiter here did an outstanding job. She went in that room, she came out, and what she saw on that video is what she saw, and she represented. I've known her for a long time. And one thing I can tell you, she is not known to tell lies. She is very professional. And for this district attorney, the elected official, to take a poke or stab at her character when he had the opportunity to review all the evidence, and she saw a 20-second snippet, and she stand by her position that Andrew Brown was executed. Let no mistake about it. She stand by her position. It is appalling. It's shameful and it's disgraceful. But I assure you this, justice will be had. Justice will be served. In 10 days, 30 days, 300 days, or 3 years, justice will be had.
So I'm going to play the rest, but I want to highlight an important thing he said. So the district attorney, by the way, we got 1,000 people watching, so keep smashing that like button, thumbs up button right under the live stream. Really appreciate it. Keep smashing the like button. Share this live stream. Sharing is caring. All that good stuff. What is completely obvious about this, okay? The district attorney in court today said they believe the shooting was justified, and they also believe, hold on, I'm just updating this, hold on, to reflect, we just hit 1,900 members, so keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join, 100 away from 2,000, which would be a major milestone. By the way, if we get to 2,000 members, we're in a much better position to bring on more help and expand. So keep signing up. Let me tell you something. The district attorney says, the tapes show that Andrew Brown ran the car at police officers, so drove the car back and hit police officers, and then drove it forward and hit police officers. I am not a rich man. I'm not at all a wealthy man. I would bet every last cent in my name that if that footage showed Andrew Brown reversing on officers or driving forward on officers, that tape would have been out the next morning, maybe the same day. Okay? If that tape showed Andrew Brown using his car as a weapon against officers, you better damn well believe this district attorney would have been begging this judge to show the tape. So all you Blue Lives Matter people, because I see some of you in the car and in the chat, and you say, well, don't resist and you'll be fine. Think with your brain instead of your brainwashing. These Blue Lives Matter people who just believe whatever bullshit the police tell them and whatever bullshit attorneys tell them. Think with your brain. If that were true, and this man, Andrew Brown, father of 7, let's not forget, father of 7, I don't really care if he dealt drugs or anything like that. That's not a capital crime. Plenty of white rednecks deal drugs that are not shot by police. Plenty of wealthy white people deal drugs, not shot by police. So think with your brain, right-wingers. Do you really believe if they had footage showing Andrew Brown reversing on officers, driving forward on officers, that they would not want that out? Of course it would be out already. Get your head out of the clouds. Get your head out of Fox News' ass. Excuse my French, everybody. Let me play a little bit more of this. Keep pressing that like button. We got a great audience right now. Let's get it higher. As a reminder, John will be live probably in the next hour and a half or 2 hours, and I'm going to play some of his great footage from last night. He was one of the only journalists live getting great footage of what I call the RoboCops. Did you see them like robots moving forward on protesters who just had their hands up? It's pretty pathetic. By the way, we just got another 2 new members. Welcome Andrea. Welcome Lois. Lewis or I think it's Lewis. No, it's Lois. 1,902. So again, Lois, Andrea, Xenia, Andres, Susan, Sierra, Jeffrey, Cynthia. Welcome to the party. We're now at 1,902, so we are now in the final stretch to getting to 2,000. And for those of you that are new to Status Coup, we take no money from banks, no money from fossil fuckers, no money from big pharma, no money from big real estate, no money from Silicon Valley, the defense contractors, the plutocrats funding and buying off the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. We are funded by you, the people. And that's how it's going to stay. It's a lot harder to do it grassroots like this, but it's also a lot more liberating because we only answer to the viewers. And that's the way actual journalism should be practiced in America. Not major multi-billion-dollar corporate conglomerates buying our media, i.e. AT&T owning CNN, Comcast owning NBC, Amazon and Jeff Bezos owning the Washington Post. You own us, and that's the way it's going to stay. Let me play the rest of this. Here is the female attorney, Chantel. Sorry, her last name escapes me. Chantel, who watched the 20-second video and essentially the district attorney today in court accused of lying.
No, Chantel, I'm going to let you come. You want anything to say?
Hey, I think I need to say a couple things. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hey, Chantel.
A couple of days ago, Bakari Sellers told you guys how he felt disrespected as a black man. I have felt that same disrespect today. I am a member of this district, District 1 bar member in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and I was not given the professional courtesy by Andrew Womble to have a conversation. I would have been glad to have a conversation if there was any confusions or questions about what I saw. I would have been glad to have a conversation, but he did not give me the opportunity.
He knew your phone number, didn't he?
He has my information is all out there. And
You said
At
you know
no
why?
time.
I'm asking him, do you know why?
You should ask him
Ask
that.
him. I have
ask
no
him
idea.
that. Don't
I have
ask.
no
Don't ask him why.
At
he
no
did it.
time have I given any misrepresentations. I still stand by what I saw in that clip it. I told everyone what I saw. We had 20 seconds. We watched it over and over to ensure that I tried as best I could not to miss anything.
And that's the whole reason. If you have a disputed facts, show the tape.
Right.
That's the issue.
And also, again, it was only one. We only saw one body cam. So if it's 5, I didn't even see 20 seconds of those 5. I only saw 20 seconds of one. So if I missed anything, and then with the redactions, it was a lot of blurred visions. You know. So again, I stand by what I saw. And we will watch it again with the family again. And you know, I just feel disrespected. So thank you.
All right, I'm gonna limit it to about 3-4 questions. So,
Mr. Daniels, have you been in contact with the FBI since they?
No, I have not been in contact with the FBI, but the FBI is here to investigate this matter.
Ms. Lassiter addressed just at any point in the video that you saw, does Mr. Brown's car go towards the deputies or hit the deputies?
No, in no portion that I saw, he was backing out away from the deputies.
No.
And in prior video, and before when DA Womble had the meeting with you, did he give any indication before in the court hearing that that was the case, that the car had been moving forward and he had told you before, or is this the first time you're learning about it?
Absolutely not, and I answered him specifically, what do we have here? And he disclosed nothing. He's playing politics here. He's still running for judge, you got to remember.
And just to follow up, and if that is the case eventually, whether one way or another, does that change anything in terms of...
We will assess all the evidence that we have. Right now, my position is what Ms. Lasser stated, and I have a man that's dead, 7 children, shot in the back of the head, guns riddled in the back of a car. So regardless, show us the tape, and we'll determine what's justified, what's not justified. Right now, it is on their hands. It is on the hands of the Pasquotank County government. Show the tape. Any more questions? All right, we're done. Let's go.
Can't really say it better myself. If there's a dispute, if the family's attorneys are saying, this is what we saw in the 20 seconds you gave us, and the district attorney is saying, no, the video shows that Andrew Brown was running or reversing his car at police officers or driving forward his car at police officers. If that were the case, very easy to clear it up, folks. Release the tape. And again, as I said in the beginning of this live stream, showing the tape does absolutely nothing in terms of impeding the investigation. Showing the tape does not prejudice or create biased jurors. I believe not showing the tape, i.e. a cover-up, is what would create suspicious and biased jurors that might harm the police officers if they are charged. So, again, common sense. I know Blue Lives Matter people think police could do no wrong. I know Blue Lives Matter people think, well, you know, he was a bad guy or he was a criminal or this and that, so he got what he deserved. Bottom line is, if this footage showed Andrew Brown had attacked officers with his car, it would have been out 8 days ago at this point. A week ago today, actually. He died last Wednesday. And, you know, I see people in the chat, you're a biased reporter. No, I'm just not a stenographer. I'm not a robot, neutral journalist. I don't just stand here and I don't think this is journalism, and thank God I don't practice this. I don't just stand here and say, well, the district attorney says this, and the family says this. We're neutral. You figure it out. No, journalists should point out obvious things, contradictions, inconsistent things, and common sense. Another common sense thing. Well, it's not usual, and I spoke with a criminal defense attorney today. I've read in different stories, and I've seen other former FBI say it is highly, let me repeat, highly unusual for them to blur faces of police officers involved in a shooting. That is highly unusual. So why is the judge giving such deference, such priority to the officer's privacy and the officer's safety, what about transparency for the citizens who pay the officer's salary? What about transparency to the grieving family? Welcome new Status Coup member Patrick. Just got another one. Now we're at 1,903. Keep signing up. Again, John will be live within the next hour or two from Elizabeth City. It just doesn't make sense. And again, I'd be happy to come once the body cam footage is off, if it actually showed that Andrew Brown was a threat to these officers, or Andrew Brown did something violent or illegal or whatever, I'd be happy to say, well, they showed us the tape and this is what it says. But they won't show the tape. And that's a good question too, Rick. Rick said, what else are they blurring? I don't know. But again, common sense. If they had 4 body cam videos from 4 different officers, plus the dash cam footage, there's other reports that there's cameras on different light poles on the street. If they have all this, why did they only show the family 20 seconds? Can you answer me that, Blue Lives Matter? Can you answer me that, Fox News? If you had it, why didn't you show it? If the footage that you didn't show the family, and a judge had to rule that you're going to show the family, if the footage shows that Andrew Brown was in the wrong, they would have shown it. And why this is so important? Because this is bigger than just Andrew Brown. This is the entire corrupt system in the United Corporations of America. We let the police form a narrative, and the media gullibly, naively, just regurgitates whatever bullshit the police tell them. I just saw a CNN article. Let me see if I can find it, actually. Police say problem. CNN. This is a CNN article from just a couple days ago. Newsrooms confront the police say problem. You got CNN's main media reporter, Brian Stelter, acknowledging in an article that the news, i.e. CNN, corporate media, forever have just been regurgitating whatever line police say with the end of that sentence, police say. Not actually investigating whether what the police are telling them is true or not, just regurgitating it as if it's fact. And you know most people look at a headline and don't read the full story. So right here, CNN's media reporter, who in my view is a doofus, Brian Stelter, he's acknowledging that the media, including CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, Washington Post, Associated Press, the official sources, the unbiased sources, essentially have just been regurgitating whatever the police tell them. By the way, add on regurgitating whatever the CIA tells them, the FBI tells them, government officials tell them, without actually verifying whether any of it's true or not. So I have been on the ground. I have reported in Flint, in Chicago, in Detroit, in Milwaukee, in Cleveland, not just on police brutality, on corruption. And a huge part of the problem, and that's why I call it the United Corporations of America, and that's why we called this media channel Status Coup, because we need a coup d'etat, a journalistic coup d'etat of the status quo. And part of that status quo is the media allows police to lie, the media allows government officials to lie, and then they just regurgitate it as fact. By the way, remember, when George Floyd was murdered, the police put out he died due to a medical situation during a routine arrest. And the media just reported that. They didn't challenge it. It was only till this bystander, the witness, I forget her name, released the video, the media had to clean it up. That happens all the time in America. All the time. The police report something and the media is either too lazy, or too disinterested to actually look into it, because they're more focused on looking for stories that are the lowest common denominator and will get clicks. So they don't actually investigate these claims. We, Status Quo, with 2 people, tend to investigate more. And again, I'd be happy to have egg on my face. I'd be happy to say we were wrong, Andrew Brown did something wrong. But as of now, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And the fact is, when somebody does not do something, it sometimes indicates what they are hiding. And the fact that they will not show the video, to me, indicates one of the biggest cover-ups in America. One of the biggest cover-ups in America. And frankly, American citizens, and keep smashing that like button. We got 1,200 people watching. Thumbs up right under the video. Americans generally only get extremely reactive when they see the video. In this case, I think the lack of the video should elicit the same exact outrage as seeing the George Floyd video, as seeing the Dante Wright murder, the Eric Garner being strangled to death on a street corner. Not having the video and these ridiculous excuses and rationalizations for not releasing it, that this judge said it would harm the investigation or it would create biased jurors. Well, why didn't it do that for George Floyd? Why didn't it do that for other black men who were murdered and the investigations? Please, please. By the way, welcome new member Patrick, another new member. We're now at 1,904 status Coup members. 1,904. Keep signing up. Maybe we could even get to 2,000 while John is down there. So I want to play you. I want to play you a little bit more of one of the family's attorneys who was interviewed by a few reporters, and John, who was filming for us, he also asked the family attorney a question. Here we go.
Mr. Daniel, has the family filed any lawsuits against the city of Elizabeth yet?
Administration of justice. We can't have a free and open society unless we have disclosure of the action of officials. What they do in our name is important. What they do in our name that we don't know about is detrimental to the operation of a free society.
Was today the first time you heard about two or officers being hit by the car?
Never has anyone ever said that Andrew Brown in any way threatened these officers. And believe you me, that had he threatened these officers, this video would have been out the next day. Would have been out in droves the next day. You guys would have been the first to know that this shooting was a justified shooting based strictly and solely upon the fact that Andrew Brown threatened these officers with a vehicle. That didn't happen. You can go out there and look at the ground and see the tire tracks on the ground, and they go in reverse. All the witnesses that witnessed this incident said that he went in reverse, and they started shooting before he even started the vehicle.
If it is established that the car somehow did strike these officers, does that necessarily exonerate the officers?
Absolutely
criminally?
not. Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because these officers would have had to have had a reasonable expectation that Andrew Brown was a threat to them in that vehicle. I don't think that there's going to be any facts to show that Andrew Brown was a threat to those officers in that vehicle. None whatsoever. If the facts show that they were holding on to the vehicle or whatever, and he was just simply trying to avoid contact and get away, and they placed themselves voluntarily in some manner to be harmed, then you may have an arguable case. But I don't think there was ever an intent, and no one will ever be able to show an intent, and no one will be able to show that there was a reasonable apprehension of an intent on the part of Andrew Brown to harm these officers.
Mr. Kent, are you from North Carolina as well?
No, from another. Absolutely not.
And so, Mr. Kent, so are you worried that there may potentially be some sort of cover-up, the fact that there is this delay? They're saying that he was aiming for officers, but we're not being allowed to see that?
I think there's a cover-up of the cover-up.
Thank you, Mr. Kent.
And what do you mean by that, sir?
Well, there are layers of cover-up. There are people that initiated this, that know what happened, that are on the scene, that are actively providing cover for the people who went out and performed the acts. So when the higher-ups cover up for the people that did the acts, and the people that did the acts are trying to elude accountability, that's what I call a cover-up of the cover-up.
Do you think that there will be accountability? You hopeful for that?
There will definitely be accountability in the end. It's just that, you know, it's going to be a fight because they're trying to not disclose information as best they can.
And Mr. Kendall, you call this a partial victory for the family, but the 7 days ongoing of protests here, the public has been wanting this video. How frustrating is this for the public or the protesters, the people who have to wait and then have to wait for another judge's order on this case?
Well, I say it's a partial victory for the family because this judge, for the first time, has indicated that the family will be allowed to see all videos with only redactions of identifying information, facial information, badge information, that sort of thing. So we've only, to this point, been allowed to see 20-second snippet of one recording. So that's a partial victory in that now we have 5 video cameras, dash cam, and 4 video body-worn cameras. So that's why I say it's a partial victory.
But for the public, for the other people who are waiting on this that don't have that access right now, how frustrating is that for them?
Very much so. And I would like for the public to have that access. I just don't represent the public in that sense. I represent the family. So to the extent that the public is not allowed to see it, there is no victory. And we heard from the representative from the press who says that this judge basically says, and I'll paraphrase, this judge is entirely off base to say that the media does not have standing. Now, I'm not a First Amendment lawyer in North Carolina. I'm not super familiar with this particular law in North Carolina. But according to this man, Michael, who was here representing the Georgia Press Association and all 20-plus media organizations, he says that the judge is off base to say that he does not have standing to ask for a release of this recording. Now, I have to take him at his word. I mean, he said in the hearing that he's done 30 to 33 hard filings of this type to get recordings. So I'm assuming that he knows what he's talking about.
How soon do you think Khalil will get to see it? Did you get
well, the judge said 10 days.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't know if he gave you a sense. We'll get it to you quick, like tomorrow.
I don't think it'll be that quick. The judge has to formally write up an order. Okay. That may take a few days. And then he's also indicated that there's some redactions that need to be made that he's going to want to probably review. So I don't know. And then there's 5 cameras, so I don't know how long that's going to take. But he said within the next 10 days.
Well, what do you think about the judge's order? It's an unusual order to blur the faces of the officers. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I have to rely on what the media representative said. He said that under North Carolina law, and I'm not familiar with this, I'm just paraphrasing what he said. He said under North Carolina law, there is the ability to get the names of the individuals who carried out this act. And he named the statute, and I wrote some notes down. He named that there was a statute, and if that is in fact the case, then there's no point in blurring faces or identification, because if the public has a right to the names under some personnel law, apparently, then there's no point in blurring the faces. And I will say this too, according to Ms. Lassiter, not only did they blur the faces in the 20-second snippet that she saw, but they also blurred body parts and weapons. So that 20-second snippet that she saw was basically almost nothing. I mean, when you consider the fact that they have 5 times as many recordings, 5 instead of 1, and they were blurring weapons, so it's highly possible that she did not see what could have been seen if there was a contact with an officer in that vehicle. And that's why it was so unfair for this district attorney to imply that she mischaracterized a video that he was apparently a part of and objected to having the family to see.
Jordan Wilkie with Carolina Public Press. In order to counter the statements from Womble, attorney last year said that she had several pages of notes. Are y'all interested in releasing those notes or any?
A cover-up of the cover-up. A cover-up of the cover-up. I don't think you could really say it much better. And by the way, the report that I read, let me see if it's in this report. Blur. Redact. The report that I read was that they were going to blur not only the officers' faces, but also their name tags. So you're going to blur the officers' faces. You're going to blur the officers' names by that gentleman who represents the family. According to him, the 20 seconds that they did see, they blurred weapons and other images. Again, I'm just asking common sense, folks. You don't have to be Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, progressive, neoliberal. It don't matter. What are they hiding? If Andrew Brown was the grave threat that required them to act like a Call of Duty game and shoot, God knows how many bullets. They said there was at least 4 bullets that grazed him in addition to the bullet that entered from the back of his head. If he was such a risk, why do you have to do all this blurring? I get it, whether you're pro-police, anti-police, whatever, there might be some threat to these officers, but their identities are going to come out at some point. Do they really think in this era of social, digital media and regular media investigating this, they really think they're going to be able to keep it quiet who these officers are? And again, why is it? Just common sense. Why is it that the priority seems to be the officers' privacy, privacy for the officers, safety for the officers? What about this man's life who died? Just because if he was a drug dealer or something like that, as I said before, plenty of wealthy middle-class white people deal in drugs. They're not assassinated by police for it. Plenty of white rednecks, no offense to rednecks, deal in drugs. They're not assassinated by police when search warrants are issued. But Andrew Brown was. And we have no actual evidence that he did anything wrong. What we do have evidence of is them hiding things. Welcome new Status Coup member Jonathan. Welcome new Status Coup member Dylan. We're now at 1,906. 1,906 Status Coup members. That is, if I could do my math, that is 17 new members. 17 new members since we've been live. Maybe we can get to 20 new members while we're live. Let me show you some of the footage, John's great footage, and thank you for the super chat, Karen Webster, 20 bucks. Been broke. Keep up the excellent work, Status Coup. Thank you. Appreciate it. By the way, we understand times are tough, so if you can't leave a super chat, if you can't sign up as a member, always what you can do, and it doesn't cost anything, is press the like button, share these live streams, subscribe under the video. The more people that subscribe, it helps us get to more people. Right now, we are at, let me check, we are at, wow, we just passed 118,000 YouTube subscribers. Just yesterday, we passed 117,000. So we're really growing. And you want to know why we're growing? It's not because we're so special. It's because we show up where the corporate media doesn't. Even CNN's pathetic coverage of this, MSNBC's pathetic coverage of this, they're not on the ground with the people. They're not going to show you what I'm about to show you, John's amazing footage from last night, because they don't want to show real talk. They don't want to show real pain. They don't want to show real anger. They don't want to show the corruption. They just want to do the, neutral, here's both sides, here's what both sides say, back to Trump, back to Biden. Let me show you a montage that Colin put together of John's great reporting. He was live for 4 straight hours last night. Here's John's reporting from last night. You can keep signing up. Statuscoup.com/join. Help support this on-the-ground reporting. Let me tell you, it's not cheap. Flight, hotel, rent-a-car, food, equipment. It costs a lot of money, trust me, to send John. I'm going on my honeymoon this Sunday, but when I'm back from my honeymoon, hopefully with a nice tan, by the way, I'll be back in the field, which I'm really excited to get back out there. So let me show you John's reporting from last night. Keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Andrew Brown!
The real issue not being Andrew Brown alone. The issue in America today that we have to contend with is systematic racism. We cannot turn our back and act as if it does not exist. Perhaps if they had somebody on the sheriff department that really knew Andrew, that had a connection with him, they could have talked him in to turning himself in. Because most of the people know that he don't carry a gun, that know him. So why would you approach him with guns?
This is the Elizabeth City Police Department. There is a curfew in effect at 8 p.m. No matter what your purpose is, you must leave the area by 8 p.m. to comply with this order. If you do not disperse by 8 p.m., you may be arrested or subject to other police action. You must leave the area.
This is an infringement upon the people's rights. So why are they being asked to move? No one should have to move. The people have not committed violence. The people have been peaceful. I'm not moving, and I hope there are a lot of other people who are not. I'm not going to move. This is a violation of the people's rights. I would understand if people have been breaking out windows. I would understand if people were out hurting other people. The people of Elizabeth City have been very peaceful. Dr. King said we have the right to disobey an immoral law. We have a moral obligation to disobey an immoral law.
Do you think this police system can be reformed?
It could be, but I understand those who saying it can't be, because there's just so much systemic. The system is staying to such a profound extent. I really don't think anyone has done enough over the past 10 years. It didn't just happen. It didn't just start, And so I don't think the Democrats are doing enough. I don't think the Republicans have done enough. I don't think any of the major parties have done enough.
When they say there's transparency, that's their saying, we're going to lie to you guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's not being transparent, period.
They all,
they
this
had
is the first time in all the cases. They're going to be transparent. I promise you. Look them up.
As you guys know, remember in Minneapolis, this is all for show. There's nothing happening here, so.
I know how we coming. Ain't no stopping. Ain't no stopping. They can't stop none of this. None of this. We too strong. We too strong. That man don't have nothing. That man ain't got nothing on him. We too strong.
All right, everyone, they're coming. Oh my God, this is such a show. Oh, come on.
We come peaceful, no violence. All week, no violence all week. We come peaceful. If it was your brother, how would you feel? One step forward, one step forward, team ready. We stand today. I will not move. We stand today. We stand today. I will not move.
If you could notice their badges, right here.
My hands are in the air and I'm peaceful. Come with me, sir. Come with me, sir.
My hands are in the air, and I'm peacefully.
Will not hurt you, okay, sir?
My hands are in the air.
All right, come with us, sir.
I'm coming peacefully.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Close it up. Close it up. All right.
No justice! No justice!
Hey, you can get out, bro. When does it stop, guys? When it's my son? When it's your son? When does it stop?
Oh yeah, yeah, it does.
Looks like that.
You should have been making sure that that racist police officer didn't kill Andrew Brown and those other racists. Those other racist murderers. They're the ones who should be arrested. The ones who violated the rights of Andrew Brown Jr. and murdered him. You killed him and you shot him in the back of the head. And if it wasn't you, you're an accomplice. You're an accomplice to a crime.
I got a mind, and I got my brothers beside me. Ready? That's all I got.
They get a news reporter first. Get news report on the ground.
Ready? Move! Move! Hey! Close it up. Hey, close it up. Right there. Close it up. Close it up. Close it up.
What is your name? What is your name?
There you go, right there.
What is your name?
Hey, media going to report tomorrow. Y'all arresting the wrong people. Ready, Rodriguez. Squad! Squad!
Turn left, move! Turn left, turn left. Follow the line! Ready, move! Follow the line to the left, move! Go!
I don't think they know what they're doing.
Move back! Move back! Move back! Move back!
I really don't understand what this was about. They came here to arrest, I believe, 6 people, and now they're leaving, and everybody's just gonna stay out.
You are the biggest man. Come on!
Is curfew done? Yeah, bullshit. Yep. Yep, exactly. It's all performance. That's all they do. Yep.
Turn me around. Turn me around. Ain't gonna let no sheriff. Turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking. Keep on talking.
Great footage from John. Amazing reporting. Again, he was live for 4 hours. 4 hours last night, getting that great footage. I wanted to show you another clip showing just like, it's almost comical, these police down in Elizabeth City. Take a look at what I call the RoboCops.
Who are they ordering to move back?
Move back! Move back! Move back! Slow down, guys! Slow down! Slow down! Move back! 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 Move back!
All right, this is a little ridiculous. Kind of look like they're doing the line dance.
Alright, line it back up. Line it back up. Look to your left and right. Look to your left and right.
Black men don't need to be out.
Put that move in. Peanut. Little fat ass. Peanut, put it in.
I want to also show you a little bit more of this woman because I thought this was really powerful. You know, we try to show you everything, whether it's police brutality, but also these powerful, passionate, raw moments that, frankly, you just don't see on CNN, MSNBC, or other corporate outlets.
You black son! I threw a bitch on you!
That shit
And your
fucked up, bro.
son!
All y'all got family, could be your son. Right.
Y'all gotta be ashamed of yourselves, man. We got a city full of kids. This is not okay.
I know the equipment smell like fish water.
This man got paint in his face. And our man is making them do this. The same ones that's been standing and protecting us every day during this protest.
Oh, they butted on.
They gonna just through the city. They don't want to hurt us. I really don't think they want to hurt us, not our police force. I'm praying in my heart that that's true because I know a lot of y'all personally.
Trees, back up out the face now. Get out the face, Trees, stand, but get out the face.
They're gonna be out here for a while.
Hey, you can get out, bro.
When does it stop, guys? When it's my son? When it's your son? When does it stop?
Look at the female. And you look dumb. What's your baggy ass at? No.
When does it stop, guys? When it's my son? When it's your son? You know, in all of these situations, you know, it's, of course, the family who has lost their loved one, whether it's George Floyd, Dante Wright, now Andrew Brown, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, Rodney King, Oscar Grant, Breonna Taylor. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. But it's also the community, because you find out when you're live covering these things, there's so many other names that didn't end up as a hashtag. There's so many other names that we don't know about that have been murdered by police wrongfully. And the police covered it up or claimed that they were shooting at them or claimed whatever, but the media never gave a damn. So it just went uninvestigated, unreported. But the pain in these communities, because it's not just the fact that, frankly, black people are target practice, but they live in fear all day, every day. I mean, I'm a white guy, so I'm not going to pretend that I understand it. I mean, other than being arrested while covering a Black Lives Matter protest, I've never really experienced police brutality. They were not so kind to me when I was arrested in 2017, but it doesn't compare to what black people have dealt with. But what I do know is every black parent, and I've talked to so many, has to have that conversation with their kids on all these extraordinary measures they have to take just to avoid getting killed by trigger-happy, and in many cases, racist white cops. Andrew Brown's family needs that body cam footage, not redacted. They need to see the officers who shot at him, and the public deserves to know. This judge saying the media doesn't have any standing to request the footage, that is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. The fact that they only showed the family 20 seconds, but now suddenly there's 4 body cams and a dash cam, so 5 total, then why did you only show the 20 seconds? Why are there 7 police officers on administrative leave and 3 who have resigned? If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And as a reminder, folks, John will be live coming up in about an hour from Elizabeth City. So he was live for 4 hours last night, and he'll be live again tonight. From what he tells me, the mood on the ground is frankly angry at the judge's decision today. So we will be live. John will be live tonight, probably in an hour. So make sure you are signed up for our text message list, because YouTube is not so good about notifying people when we're live. What I mean by that is they don't notify you when we're live. So We're building our text message list so you can get a text message every time we go live. We love the audience immediately shoots up when we send out the text, because so many people aren't getting the notification from YouTube but get it from the text. We don't send you text messages other than when we're live, so we won't bury you or annoy you. Text COUP to 370-370. That's COUP to 370-370. Keep it coming in the super chat. Really appreciate it. By the way, we got another new member. Welcome, Nicole just signed up. We're now at 1,908. Oh, Darren just signed up. Holy cow, we're now at 1,909. 1,909. We have gained 20 new members. We started at 1,889. We have gained 20 members while we're live. I can't thank you guys enough. As a reminder for new members, how membership works, go to statuscoup.com. Right there, statuscoup.com. You hover over Become a Member, and member content will bring you to our member page. I just put up a video from last night, a behind-the-scenes video that I shot while I was doing the live chat for John. So check out that video. I revealed probably too much. My wife was mad at me that I revealed once while reporting. I peed my pants because there was no bathroom and I had to go. So you always get the truth from me. But click when you sign up as a member, you'll get access to our members-only content, including our members-only Discord channel. So you get to join our Discord. We also do members-only calls once a month. We haven't done a call this month, but we hopefully will before I go on my honeymoon on Sunday. Also, as a member, you'll get access to our incredible documentary that we did on Flint. It shows myself and Jen knocking on old school, knocking on doors, nearly 400 doors we knocked on in 2018, in the summer and the fall, to reveal that former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder and his administration were cheating on the Flint water testing. They were manipulating the testing to declare Flint's lead levels normal or restored, and then they shut down the remaining Flint water pods based on the cooked data. So we found that out by doing old school journalism that you funded. So we're still trying to get this picked up, but for now, we're trying to get it picked up by a larger distributor so we can get as many eyeballs on that important documentary as possible. But for now, members get to see the documentary. So sign up, statuscoup.com/join. Again, we're now at 1,909, and sign up just for my awesome little artistic creation here. statuscoup.com/join. You can become a member for as low as $5 a month. It really makes a big difference. Right now, we're looking to bring on some more help to expand. Down the road, I'd like to hire another reporter, but we need to grow. So now we are about, 91 members away. 91 members away from hitting 2,000, which would be a major, major milestone for us. I want to play one more short clip, because I thought this was very powerful. This was protesters sitting on the ground singing.
Turn me around, oh, turn me around. Turn me around, ain't gonna let no mayor. Turn me around, we're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom way. Ain't gonna let white supremacy turn me around, turn me around. Turn me around, ain't gonna let white supremacy turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom way. Ain't gonna let no deputy turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let.
So that was the Freedom Song by protesters. I think I saw one white person or two white people with the black protesters. So there's a lot of white people out there too. By the way, Elizabeth City, if you don't know, is 50%, I believe, majority black city in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So this is what's going on, folks. And I got to tell you, I understand President Biden is holding his first joint session with Congress tonight. I understand that obviously we still have a pandemic going on. I understand that there's a lot of other news going on. But in my view, and why we sent John there, and as a reminder to folks, I'm going on my honeymoon this Sunday, but when I get back, I will be back out in the field, which I'm looking forward to. What really, to me, this is the biggest story in America right now, because Americans viscerally seem to only react when they see the video. Americans should be just as outraged right now as they were when they saw George Floyd knee down to his neck. Even without the video, Americans should have the same outrage at what, to me, appears very clearly to be a cover-up. Again, the lawyers said it, and I'm saying it. If that footage showed Andrew Brown reversing and hitting police officers with his car or driving forward on police officers, it would have been out 8 days ago. This is an extraordinary amount of efforts to withhold information, an extraordinary amount of effort to hide information, an extraordinary amount of effort to bend over backwards by the judge in deference to the police. And one has to ask why. One has to ask why. What is it that is so harmful on the video? What is it that is so harmful on the video? Somebody's got to tell me. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's really unbelievable. By the way, another new member. Welcome, Sonia. Holy cow. We're now at 1,910. 1,910 status Coup members. So we're up 21 new members since we've been live. Colin, if you have a new graphic, if you don't mind, 1,910. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep signing up. Spread the word for your friends. I also want to thank, we've been getting GoFundMe donations too. I always have to put the disclaimer, we don't have that much money in the bank. This is a 3-year GoFundMe. Thank you, Aaron, Bertram, Andres, Anonymous. This is a 3-year GoFundMe. So we launched this in 2018. Through over 2,000 donors, we've raised $152,503. We have spent the overwhelming majority of it on equipment, on travel, on marketing, advertising, legal costs. So we have literally been spending your money on reporting and building this company. But we really appreciate the ongoing donations, and we do not take for granted, by the way, that people right now, it's tough times for a lot of people. So we really, really appreciate your support. I just want to do a real quick story. And again, John is going to be live probably in the next hour. So make sure you're on our text list. I want to do a real quick story because we haven't been able to cover much else. But in the last 2 weeks, because John was in Minneapolis covering the Dante Wright protests and then the Derek Chauvin verdict. And now he's in North Carolina. So we've basically been focused all on these stories. And again, John will be live, I think, in about an hour. So make sure. I personally think this is more important to watch than Biden regurgitating bullshit tonight. But that's just my opinion. I want to do a quick story because I got to tell you, there's a lot of progressive hosts online. You know, they're calling AOC fraud, Pramila Jayapal fraud, Ro Khanna fraud. I never went that far because I don't really think it's helpful. I mean, if it makes you feel better to call people sellouts, so be it. But at some point, all of these progressives need to be called out. I know I'm a little late to this, and a lot of other people have done videos on it, but I wanted to go through AOC, Congresswoman AOC, who on policy I'm with, and I agree with, and I support. I don't hide that I'm a progressive, but I'm a little concerned by these comments. Let's take a look.
Do think that, one thing that I will say is that I do think that the Biden administration and President Biden has definitely exceeded expectations that progressives had. I'll be frank, I think a lot of us expected a much more conservative administration. And I think that not only what has ultimately come out, but the active invitation and willingness and collaboration with progressives in his first 100 days, or almost 100 days, has been very impressive. And so while there are there are areas where there are just plain areas of disagreement, I think that the actual conduct of the administration has absolutely been in good faith, but not just in good faith, but active incorporation of progressive legislation, and also for those of us individually. I can at least say that there has been a lot of openness and willingness and flexibility in incorporating many of our goals, requests, demands, etc. And I think that it has been to the benefit of the country.
Yeah, sure about that. And hey, I'm with AOC on Medicare for all. I'm with her on a Green New Deal. I'm with her on a lot of these priorities. But you need to look in the mirror, AOC, because your expectations are whack if you believe President Biden has exceeded progressive expectations and that he's somehow not been super conservative. By the way, welcome new Status Coup member James. Holy cow, we're reigning members. 1,911 members now. Sorry, I don't have the ability to update the graphic while I'm live. That might change soon because we might be getting new help to help us while we're live. But we're at 1,911. 1,911 members. Keep signing up. Again, John will be live pretty soon. With AOC's comment, I want to show a few other comments, which, again, I just thought were whack. Here's Ro Khanna being quoted. The progressive wing is ascendant in terms of the new members, in terms of grassroots energy, in terms of advocating policies that most Democrats support. But the progressive wing is not in the position of power yet. Another way to put it is that progressives won the conversation but lost the primary. Another way to put it is that the main power is not their man, but he's hemmed in by their ideas. So much for this being framed in the ways that we want. What? What? That was Pramila Jayapal. She also said, I feel like on Biden, Jayapal said, I feel like he understands who helped him get there. Speaking of the racially and ideologically diverse coalition that elected him. And he understands that they got him there, not because they necessarily saw him as the most inspiring candidate. Probably a lot of those groups would have chosen somebody else as their first pick, but because they have so much pain at stake that needs to be fixed. And I actually believe he really understands that pain. So let's be clear. As progressives, we could credit Biden when he does something right. I thought the $1.9 trillion coronavirus stimulus bill was far too little. I think it should have been bigger, but there were some good things in there, like the child tax credit, increased food and nutrition programs, this and that. The problem is it was all a temporary Band-Aid for a gaping economic gunshot wound. There is nothing in when AOC says he's listened to our demands and collaborated and this and that. There's absolutely nothing he has done that is permanent or offers structural change. Nothing. So you want to give Biden and try and frame it that he's outperformed expectations and that he's collaborating with progressives and all of this? For what? Temporary relief for promising $2,000 checks but only giving $1,400 checks? For running on one policy and one policy only, the $15 minimum wage, and quickly abandoning that? Do you hear any talk after Biden abandoned it in the COVID relief bill? Do you hear him pushing it or prioritizing it now? Do you hear him pushing or prioritizing it as part of his infrastructure bill? No. He ran on a public option. For healthcare. When's the last time you heard Biden talking about a public option in healthcare? He's talking about more subsidies for Obamacare, which is the insurance company's best friend, Obamacare. $2,000 checks, a lie. $15 minimum wage, a lie. Public option, a lie. He also, in the task forces with Bernie Sanders, come on, man. In the task forces with Bernie Sanders' campaign, after Bernie dropped out, he said he was open to lowering the Medicare age to 60, which is another half-measure incremental crumbs. Haven't heard anything about that either. Yes, to be fair, the pandemic is his first priority. So we understand. We understand that the pandemic is his first priority. But, I mean, you have the White House, Democrats have the Senate, and Democrats have the House. Right now, they could do a whole lot of things that they used to not be. And I don't want to hear about Joe Manchin. I don't want to hear about Kristen Sinema, because President Biden, if he exerted leadership, if he rallied the troops, the people are behind Medicare for all. The people are behind a $15 minimum wage. The people are behind a Green New Deal. The people are behind free public college tuition. The people are behind ending private prisons. The people are behind banning fracking. So he's the president, not Joe Manchin. He's the president, not Kristen Sinema, who, by the way, is beyond corrupt. Did you see that video of her telling business groups, well, the first thing I do when considering legislation is I speak with the business community in Arizona. Quiet part out loud, she said. So Joe Biden, if he wanted to practice leadership, could shame Joe Manchin, could shame Kristen Sinema, could unite with Bernie and the squad. So I don't know what she's talking about, and Pramila Jayapal is talking about, that he's exceeding expectations. Why? Because his chief of staff met with you? Are progressives that easy to please that they are satisfied because the presidential administration is meeting with progressive congresspeople? That's progress? That's deliverables? When Pramila Jayapal says, let me go back to it. When Pramila Jayapal says he understands that they got him there, not because they necessarily saw him as the most inspiring candidate. He's talking about the racially and ideologically diverse coalition, but because they have so much pain at stake that needs to be fixed. Well, since Joe Biden's been president, Dante Wright was murdered by police. Now Andrew Brown was murdered by police. There's other people that we don't know about that was murdered by police. There was just a man that came out, sorry if I don't know his name, in California, in the Bay Area, that was strangled to death by police. What's Joe Biden doing about it? The same thing President Obama did about it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're throwing out nice verbal, nice language. I'm with you. A lot of woke signaling. He's not challenging qualified immunity for police. He's not making a priority the George Floyd Justice Bill. He's not coming out strongly against police departments. Why? Because he's a huge reason for this police terrorism, i.e. the crime bill, which literally flooded police departments with military-grade weapons. The crime bill that Joe Biden pushed and Joe Biden authored. The crime bill that incentivized states with money to build more prisons to house black men. How can the person that is not completely, but significantly responsible for this problem of policing, how can he fix it? And I don't want to put it all on Biden, because obviously police have been out of control in this country, particularly towards black people, since the dawn of this country. But he's the president now, and he ain't doing anything about it. So I got to tell you, everybody has their own way of going about things. Some people call AOC, Ro Khanna, Pramila Jayapal, Ayanna Pressley, Mark Pocan, now Cori Bush, sellouts. I'm going to say this is pathetic, and it's weak. Progressives are showing weakness right now. Right there. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Ro Khanna, Pramila Jayapal, Mark Pocan, Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, Marie Newman, Mondaire Jones, if there is a God, Nina Turner. Her primary for Congress in Ohio, I believe the 11th district, is in August. I am going to be on the ground covering that, by the way. We will be on the ground covering that for sure this summer. But Democrats have I think it's a 5-seat majority right now in the House of Representatives. If these progressives wanted to stop trying to work within the system and start challenging the system by voting together as a coordinated bloc, they could literally shut down the Biden administration today. I don't think that's extreme at all. If you look at the UK Parliament and other governments where a majority party has a slim majority, and there are enough like-minded and ideologically similar politicians within that party, a greater number than the actual majority, they routinely say, I'm not voting for it, I'm blocking legislation, and they negotiate for concessions. That's called politics. But the progressives, it seems they're allergic to playing politics because they seem to think that if they just have meetings with Biden's chief of staff, and if Biden signals collaboration to them and an open door, that that's somehow going to fix the problem that in America you could die if you can't afford health care. That that's somehow going to expedite the destruction of our planet. Expedite fighting the destruction of our planet. I don't know what these people are thinking. You know, maybe activism is different than hardball politics. Maybe they're very good at activism, but not as good as hardball politics. Because let me tell you something. If it were the other way around, and Republicans held this slim majority, the Tea Party would not hesitate. These Tea Partiers would not hesitate to shut shit down. But the difference between the Tea Party and the progressives that right now could vote as a bloc and shut down everything. Biden's infrastructure bill, more subsidies for the Obamacare and all this stuff. The difference is these progressives actually have the public behind them. These progressives actually have public sentiment behind them. The Tea Party did not. The Tea Party had Fox News behind them and Drudge and Breitbart. These progressives have public opinion behind them, including a majority of Republicans on a lot of these policies. So I don't understand. And the people that elected them do not understand. What happened to the AOC that called for bringing a ruckus to the Democratic Party? What happened to that AOC? What happened to Rashida Tlaib, who said, we're going to challenge the Democratic Party? Because I know the people that knocked on doors for AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, they expected more of a fight. And I don't think I or anybody else criticizing the progressives, we're not expecting them to be magicians. We're not expecting them to be magical wizards that are going to get us Medicare for all tomorrow. I understand you do have to compromise at certain points in politics. Bernie Sanders was also pragmatic and knew when to compromise. But you don't compromise right outside the door. You don't compromise right when you show up. You play hardball and you negotiate and you threaten that if you don't give us X, Y, and Z, we will not even meet with you. And they have the numbers to do it right now, and they're not, which to me, they are failing the people that voted for them. They are failing the people that volunteered for them. They are failing the people that donated to them. And they are not beyond criticism. If you want to call them sellouts, frauds, you call them whatever you want. I'm calling it weak. I'm calling them weak. And sure, it's easy for a YouTube host to criticize. We're not Congress people. Of course, they have pressures that we don't even know about. But this is what you chose to get involved with. And by the way, AOC said she would rather be a one-term congressperson that actually gets shit done than a lifetime politician. And by the way, I don't have the clip with me right now, but I tweeted this earlier. Pramila Jayapal literally went on CNN earlier. I have the tweet here. When asked about Biden ahead of his joint session, gave him an A so far in his presidency and said he has far exceeded expectations. An A. lied about $2,000 checks, moonwalked away from a $15 minimum wage, not doing a public option, won't even allow the government to negotiate with Medicare, which every other country does. Their governments negotiate with the drug companies and private healthcare. Biden's not allowing it. By the way, he's also protecting these for-profit health companies like Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, protecting their patents during a deadly pandemic. Go look at India, which 6,000 to 7,000 people are dying a day right now. India is ground zero for COVID right now. Biden is protecting these pharmaceutical companies' patents so that generic versions of the vaccine cannot be made to literally save lives all over this world, to save lives in poor third world countries that have not had access to the vaccine. Joe Biden and Bill Gates, by the way, are putting drug companies, who, by the way, bribe him with donations and bribe the Democratic Party and bribe the Republican Party. He's putting them first before global health to save lives, where the only people that are suffering are people who lost the life lottery and were born into poverty in countries all over this world. And that's exceeding your expectations? With progressives like this, Jesus Christ. Tell me, am I being too hard here? Tell me in the super chat or the chat, am I being too hard here? I'll give him credit when he deserves credit. It's not an all or nothing. You could credit him, even though he's a corrupt warmonger. You could credit him if he does something right. I tweeted out when he announced he's withdrawing troops from Afghanistan, if this actually happens, because they always say we're removing all the troops, and then you find out later, oh, wait, they're leaving like 3,000 troops, or oh, wait, they're leaving like 15,000 private contractors. So I said he deserves credit if they actually remove all U.S. troops from Afghanistan. While you're at it, actually stop the war in Yemen. So I'll credit it when he deserves credit, but I don't see. Listen, the 1.9 trillion COVID bill, there were some things that were in there that were good, but they're all temporary. So while the corporate media keeps writing these puff pieces claiming Biden is the new FDR, thank you, Dunbar, $5 in the super chat. Claiming Biden is the new FDR and, he's somehow offered like New Deal policies. All of this is temporary. And by the way, there is nothing in Biden's COVID relief bill that does anything about permanent eviction protection, permanent foreclosure eviction. It's all temporary. Just like President Obama, Biden's BFF, allowed the banks to run roughshod over Americans and foreclose on millions of Americans, majority black and brown people, by the way, got foreclosed on. There's no protections once the pandemic is declared over. There's no protections for black and brown people in this country and white people who are thousands of dollars behind on rent, thousands of dollars behind on mortgages. Once the music stops, once the pandemic's declared over, you think Biden's coming with permanent protections, permanent forgiveness? No. So we need to continue criticizing these progressives. We need to continue shaming them if need be, because this is not what the voters voted for, the volunteers knocked on doors for, or donors donated their hard-earned money. By the way, welcome new Status Coup member, Chris and Tiesha. We're now at 1,914. Sorry, the graphic is still outdated, but 1,914. That is 86 members away from 2,000. Oh, my God. I am so excited. And I just got to say, for those of you that don't know, before I started Status Coup in 2018, I started it with Jen, our co-founder. I had some meetings with some folks I knew in media, and they kept saying, oh, it's so cute that you want to actually go out there and like cover the Flint water crisis on the ground and like go cover environmental protests against pipelines and go cover, police murdering black people and actually like go on the ground and cover things. But like, you won't build an audience that way. People don't want that. People just want sensationalism, conflict, there's not a real hunger for like real on the ground reporting. Well, 1,914 people say differently. And by the way, we've grown to 1,914 members while YouTube is suppressing the living fuck out of us. And I haven't even done a video yet that YouTube's CEO just openly admitted that they are rigging the algorithm. YouTube CEO just openly admitted that they have rigged the algorithm and they are ranking higher in their algorithm corporate media, authoritative media like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, The Washington Post, Bloomberg. If you look under the news tab, it's always corporate media. She just openly admitted that she's doing it. So I wasn't crazy. Kyle Kalinske wasn't crazy. Jamal Thomas wasn't crazy. Humanist Report wasn't crazy. Rational National wasn't crazy. Jimmy Dore wasn't crazy. Wait a minute, what are we doing wrong? We're doing the same exact content we used to do that got us X amount of subscriber growth, X amount of views, but all of a sudden, we're hidden. Status Coup was unfortunate. We launched in 2018 after they changed their algorithm to stuff your feed with Wolf Blitzer and Rachel Maddow and corporate gas bags that nobody comes to YouTube for. So we've been up against essentially being hidden for the most part. So thank you to all our members. We don't take you for granted. We hope you like the content we give you as members. As a reminder, I posted a new members video right before I started this live stream. So you could go watch that new video. Go to status. If you're a member, go to statuscoup.com, click on over become a member, and right there, members content. You'll get the video I just uploaded for members, including our members only. Right now, just for members, our documentary, Flushing Flint, which we're really proud of. You'll have access to all of our members content that we've done before. It's a lot of cool behind the scenes, real, raw stuff showing you the behind the scenes of how the cake is baked here at Status Coup. I'm going to sign off because we want to give enough time before John goes live. I believe John will be live in about a half hour to 45 minutes. Reminder, do not rely on YouTube. Do not rely on YouTube to notify you when we're live. Text COUP to 370-370. That's COUP to 370-370. That way you will get a text message when we're live. Thank you to all our new members. You could keep signing up even when I sign off. Statuscoup.com/join. Statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5 a month, because as humbly as I could ask, there's a lot of media outlets asking you for membership. Join their Substack, join their membership, and what are they actually providing you? Are they on the ground? Are they in the trenches in North Carolina? Were they in the trenches in Minneapolis covering protests for 2 weeks after Dante Wright was murdered? Were they on the ground in Dallas covering Botham John, a 26-year-old black man that was murdered by a white police officer? I was. Status Coup was. Have they gone to Flint 17 times since 2016? No. Most of them haven't gone once. Did they go to Seattle to cover the economic terrorism Amazon and Jeff Bezos is perpetrating on the people, i.e. gentrification and the homeless explosion? Did they go to Portland like Jen did to cover the Proud Boys rallies? Did they go to California to cover the wildfires like Jen did? Did they go to Detroit and Ohio to cover General Motors laying off 15,000 people after they got a $51 billion bailout? I don't think so. Did they go to Virginia to cover Virginians, citizens, having to literally build tree houses on their property and go protest atop their trees for 30 to 60 days? In one case, a protester protested for 900 days so that a fossil fuel company didn't cut down their trees to put a natural gas pipeline under. No, they didn't. So keep signing up. Yes, Colin, send me the super chats if you can, so I could read the super chats. Silence and Violence, $10. Jordan, please see my IG DM and email. Fellow journalists got banned from renting car because they called the cops on them. They need help to get where John is. I don't really check IG that much. I'm not one of the cool kids. Email me what you're talking about. info@statuscoup.com. info@statuscoup.com. So I'll take a look. Elizabeth, $5. Coverage this morning was excellent. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank John. He's there on the ground. MHC, $4.99. When Jordan heard a notification sound and looked at his phone, I simultaneously did the same with mine. Karen, $10. I tried to leave John some cash, but Google wouldn't take it. Oh, interesting. Misanthropic and Out of Coffee, $5. Act.tv, James from the internet, did just police are on a revenge rampage around the country. This ties in so well. Peter Iano, $9.99. Hey, Peter. And Andres Guardado, shot in the back and killed by L.A. sheriffs. Cameras smashed and footage confiscated and never released by L.A. sheriffs. Sheriff also tried to block release of an autopsy. Ooh, Jesus. Can you email that to me, Peter? info@statuscoup.com. info@statuscoup.com. Brandon Harrington, $10. Keep up the good independent reporting, Status Coup. We will. Thank you. Jarek Beats, $4.99. The streets will get justice. We'll see what the streets show tonight. Thank you. Deborah Logan, $5. How can progressives judge expectations when they themselves aren't meeting expectations? That is a damn good question. I wish I said it like that. See, my viewers are smarter than me sometimes. Dunbar, $5. Thanks for all you do, brother. Thanks for all you do, and thanks to all our new members. We are so excited. Right now, as we stand, we are 86 members away. 86 members away from 2,000. We have 1,914, so that's a little outdated. 1,914. Thank you to all our new members. We'll be live shortly. John from North Carolina.